Hi, class. Today we're going to be talking about how drug policies that mandate marijuana drug testing for employees are unnecessary, ineffective, and even counterproductive. Drug testing for marijuana not only infringes on individual privacy, but also fails to address actual concerns related to workplace safety and productivity. Meet John. John looks like a pretty cool dude, doesn't he? John is a dedicated employee with a successful track record in his company. Though, despite his excellent performance, John does face the prospect of losing his job due to a positive marijuana test. Marijuana testing infringes on employer and the employee, and it's ineffective to be conducting mandated testing. Not only this, it's also considered invasion of privacy, and there are better alternatives to workplace safety, which we'll go on to later. If you're unfamiliar with marijuana, marijuana is also known as cannabis or weed. It's a medicinal hemp plant comprised of dry leaves, flower seeds, and stems. It is grown. According to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, cannabis, aka marijuana, was one of the most used drugs in the United States, reported in 2022. Since the legalization, though, I'm sure that has risen. Mandated testing of marijuana within the workforce is thought by many to be ineffective. One of the reasons is because research actually shows that the presence of marijuana in a person's system doesn't necessarily indicate impairment or recent use. What that means is John could have smoked weed on Saturday on his day off, and they could have had testing, a urine test on Monday. And since weed state can show up in a urine test for the next 30 days, John will test positive for ingesting marijuana, even though he is not high at work. He got high on his day off. Drug testing also may lead in dismissal of employees who we were discussing John earlier is facing, who are not impaired at work, resulting in loss of valuable talent and skilled workers. In 2022, the Society of Human Resource Management reported an average cost per hire was around $4,700. Since then, I'm sure that average has risen due to inflation. Here's a graph you can look over to show how long marijuana stays in the body system. As I mentioned earlier, urine can stay up to 30 days, saliva up to 24 hours, hair up to 90 days. So someone could have smoked weed once, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, not even be high. They tried it once with some friends, and they may lose their job because they tested positive at work. In blood, it can stay in the blood for up to 12 hours. There's a graph showing the increase of drug positive rates by industry sector. As you can see, they have risen over the years. Mandated marijuana testing is considered as an invasion of privacy amongst a lot of Americans. We do have a right to privacy as a U.S. citizen, and many will argue being subjected to mandated drug testing due to suspicion violates that fundamental right. Not only this, invasive testing procedures can cause stress and anxiety among employees. So, I mean, to me, it would sound like you're walking on eggshells if someone can just ask you to pee in a cup just out of suspicion. This is our right as a U.S. citizen, and that is within the Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. So if employers are drug testing out of reasonable suspicion, that would fall underneath this amendment, because giving up bodily fluids or hair, that's you. That's part of you. You're giving that away. As you can see by this graph, majority of people are tested out of reasonable suspicion. The average cost of a drug test alone for urine tests can run from $30 to $60 for one employee. So that really adds up. Blood and hair, let alone, could be $200 or more for one employee. Instead of sending those monies to the testing, they could be used to implement educational programs over drug abuse, which in turn will encourage open communication and promoting a culture of responsibility, and can enhance workplace safety more effectively. And that's reported by OSHA. Over the next 2 slides are the resources cited. Thank you for taking the time for reviewing my video.